Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep going. I lost my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep going. I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Radical Truth to Power, the progressive news show with Let's BS3. I am your host, Marlon, along with Thiz, along with Anna Hart. And as you can see from the title, on today's show, we're going to have a brief discussion about the vice presidential debate that happened last week when we was off. We're going to get into talks about Israel's strike against Beirut, Lebanon, and get an update on that. The closest I got was sometime today, so we'll get an update on what's going on with that. And we'll end the first hour off with talking about the outcome of Hurricane Helene. Yeah, I actually said the word right. The second hour, me and Theas couldn't figure out how you said Helene. Helen.
I'm thinking it is Helene because of the E. Yeah.
We had to look it up. The second hour, we have an Am I the A-hole, a positive story of the week, Mafia video of the week, and of course, Foxy's videos of the week. That's the whole show. Theas, how's everything going, sir? I know you're tired.
Yeah, that's about it. Just tired. Everything's cool though. Nothing major.
Anna?
Same. I mean, normal Sunday for me. So visit with the family. Everything's going good. It's a beautiful day out. Absolutely gorgeous where I am.
Oh, nice. All right, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button. I would truly appreciate it. It gives the YouTube algorithm letting everybody know that we are live. If you're new to the show, please, you can always comment. All we ask is that you be respectful, but we'd love to hear your output as well. Your thoughts on any of the subjects we're going to talk about today. Let me see who we got out there. Parker, over 600 subscribers now. That's awesome. 609. Yeah.
Wow.
We're over the middle of the night. We reached over the 600 mark.
Wow.
Um,
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Like I said, anybody that's new, thank you, Parker, for bringing that up. Anybody that's new, feel free to comment. We have no problem. Like I said, just be respectful. That's all we ask. And Susan is in the house said, hey, so
Good morning.
without further ado, okay. Now, without further ado, let's get the party started. So let's start off with just a brief synopsis or a brief discussion about last week's vice presidential debate. And let's just see how everybody feel about it.
Well, you watched it on Fox tonight in what will likely be their one and only debate. The candidates for vice president faced off, running through a laundry list of issues from immigration to climate change and the economy.
And mostly absent from this debate, the current president, Joe Biden. Instead, during the debate hosted by CBS News, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance worked to tie the vice president, Kamala Harris, to the Biden administration's perceived failures. And Minnesota Governor Tim Walz worked to tie Harris to the administration's perceived successes. Fox 4's Amelia Jones, and now with a deeper look at some of their responses to the major issues. Amelia.
Yeah, Heather, Steve, this was the first time these two men have actually ever met, and it's the only time they'll debate as vice president candidates. Senator J.D. Vance and Governor Tim Walz shook hands briefly before starting the debate hosted by CBS News. Out of the gate, the candidates addressed the conflict in the Middle East, climate change, and immigration. Senator J.D. Vance was asked about former President Donald Trump's desire for mass deportation and what that would look like. Vance replied by attacking Kamala Harris and her border policies, while Governor Tim Walz pointed out a bipartisan border bill authored by a Republican senator that ultimately ended up not getting passed. Allegedly, it was Trump who had the bill killed, so he had a platform to run on.
What would Donald Trump talk about if we actually did some of these things? And they need to be done by the legislature. You can't just do this through the executive branch. So look, we have the options to do this. Donald Trump had 4 years. He had 4 years to do this.
Before we talk about deportations, we have to stop the bleeding. We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies.
In terms of the economy, Vance emphasized the Trump campaign's view to bring back what he called a common sense economy, saying that experts aren't always right. Walz reinforced the Harris campaign's goals to provide economic relief through child care relief. The candidates were also asked about their leadership qualities and to address some discrepancies in their past statements.
But I've also been extremely open about the fact that I was wrong about Donald Trump. I was wrong, first of all, because I believed some of the media stories that turned out to be dishonest fabrications of his record. But most importantly, Donald Trump delivered for the American people. Rising wages, rising take-home pay, an economy that worked for normal Americans, a secure southern border, a lot of things, frankly, that I didn't think he'd be able to deliver on.
Now, look, my community knows who I am. They saw where I was at. Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect. And I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that.
A big difference in tonight's debate is the microphones were not turned off when the opponent was speaking. The CBS moderators only had to mute the mics once during the debate as the candidates were speaking over each other. During the debate, both candidates trickled in pieces of their own backgrounds and even at times acknowledged that their opponent's statement was right. The second half of the debate focused on reproductive rights, gun violence, and the 2020 election.
Let me just get my point out. The only thing that I got from this is status quo. Want to see what status quo looks like? in political office, as presidential office, and debates. That was status quo. The only thing that I would have said, listening to the J.D. Vance, there was a lot of things J.D. Vance said that I agreed with. Also, he ain't doing absolutely none of those things if he gets into office. So yeah, it was nice. He said some good things, but if you believe it's going to be done, if Trump and Vance gets into office, you're sadly mistaken. It's not going to happen. It is also very true that a Republican-led Border Patrol bill was on the floor, and Trump heavily got the Republicans to vote it down, make changes, whatever. This is how we know Trump had a hand into it. You know how normally the Republicans always have an issue with the bill that don't go far enough, that we add something to it, that you know, because you try to slide in, a writer for this or that. They didn't say anything about this bill. They just didn't vote it in. And when one person, Marjorie Taylor Greene, said, well, why didn't you pass the bill? Well, it wasn't strong enough. It just didn't go far enough. You're the one that wrote it. So make it strong enough. But anyway, that's all I got to say about the debate. Like I said, it was that boring that I went all the way back to the Border Patrol bill. So
Mm-hmm.
Anna,
The one thing I heard really clearly was JD, a lot like Trump, not answering questions, but doing this long form of "I love Trump." Let me show you how much I love Trump. I mean, hey, I also thought in the beginnings, I haven't seen the entire debate. I have seen clips and I have seen parts when it was on TV. I felt Tim Walz was pretty nervous in the beginning. Like he said, he's not very good at debates, and like some people had a problem with him writing down so much. I honestly didn't. I would rather that, and I would rather you know that you get the facts right, and like he was writing down numbers and stuff. So not everybody can keep those in their head. And no, I don't think he's like like we said last night. We're not meant to think of him truly as vice president. We are here to say Kamala will do the job for all 4 8 years, whichever. And but he was just very nervous. It took him a long time to get into the rhythm of I don't know, his stride, I guess. But no, I heard a lot of dancing from Vance. But yeah, so how did you feel about the two?
Well, for me, it was what I kind of expect from vice presidential debates.
Mm-hmm.
You hear people say more about particular issues than you would normally hear, but even then, it's all surface level.
Yeah.
What upsets me the most or annoys me the most is that we're even taking any of this seriously. Because, and not just this debate, but we literally have one ticket that is against immigration, be it legal or illegal, purely on racial basis. Like, it's clear. They're openly racist, and because of the country we live in and the people we have in this country, that's not a deal breaker. So that tells me everything I really need. Like, in the media infrastructure, they want the ratings and they just want the show. So they don't lead in with this ticket fomented a violent attack on the government. This ticket traffics in racial stereotypes and racial attacks. This ticket openly lies and tells you that they will lie and that they will continue to lie, right?
Mhm.
Because if they did that, they would be called biased and taking a side, when reality is no, they're just telling you what is happening. And because of I bring it right back to the people. It's us. It's the people. It's not Vance. It's not Trump. It's your boss. It's your coworker. It's your brother. It's your cousin. Right? Racism is not a deal breaker. Violence against others is not a deal breaker. The man calls for a bloody roundup of immigrants. And we all know that that is code for Latinos, no matter who they are. I asked someone once, how do you know if someone is illegal? And I knew the answer. The answer is they haven't thought about it and they don't care. Because the fact that that ticket has gone from we're against illegal immigration, the border is a problem because of illegal immigration. They never once talk about expired visas. They never once talk about any Europeans that come here and stay beyond their allowed time. Never once. They only focus on these racial, not even whistles, they're just racial attacks against people because they're from south of the US border. And then it morphed when it became the Haitians. Illegal wasn't enough anymore. Now we must also be against legal, to the point that we won't even say that they're legal. The media has to occasionally slip in there that they're legal. But the Trump campaign runs at it as though that's not even the matter, because in this debate, JD went after the basis of what is legal. So we've already heard that Trump wants to get rid of birthright citizenship. Then we know they're against legal immigration. You put those two things together, and really you're against non-Europeans. Further, you say they're poisoning the blood and they're poisoning the culture. What blood? What culture? So the debate was what it was. I just get annoyed with the triviality of it because none of it should even be worthy of discussion. Full stop. Racism, violence, and an insurrection. Even if you don't want to use insurrection, it was a violent attack on the government. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people who will just say, shame on you for attacking the government, because sometimes the government gets out of line. But the fact remains, it happened. And that's against the law. So how do you say that you're law and order while supporting the people who attack law and order? Because you don't truly believe in it. And I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I'm annoyed with people, real regular people because the debates are relevant. Presidents and vice presidents do not debate as a course of their job. It's all a show for us. And we still don't care. We still don't care. We're taking all the stuff that J.D. Vance did in this debate and then taking what's the man Walls got a date wrong and equivalent and making these equivalent.
Right.
And how stupid some people are. Well, JD, he came out and he seemed very rational and very calm and not at all what we've seen before. Yes, because he was lying to you. But it doesn't matter because you don't care about the truth. You care about the show.
Well, sorry to be off the air. Like I said, sometimes I have to do things in the background. So sorry. Okay. But Foxy did make a point. The people who are just screaming law and order is screaming law and order to everybody but them.
Absolutely.
They want you to be in law and order as they write the laws and orders.
Rules for thee. Yeah. Not me.
Rules for thee and grace for me. But the thing is, that has always been the case. Y'all heard me say this before. It always gets under my skin. People are emotionally lazy and intentionally stupid. All right. And I know that's not how you're supposed to talk about people, but it's the damn truth. Okay. You can't stay mad about anything because you're too simple-minded. You need someone to offend you again and again and again. So you can get mad at the new offense. But all the old offenses, you just let go. Because you can't hold on to a thought for more than 24 to 48 hours. And then have the audacity to be mad at politicians for talking down to you and lying to you. They do it because that's what you demand of them. But whatever.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to Israel's hit on Beirut, Lebanon.
Almost midnight in Beirut. The night sky becomes a fireball. The Lebanese capital under heavy attack. For the people here, there would be no sleep. Multiple Israeli airstrikes continued for several hours, pounding the densely populated southern suburbs. Next to a hotel, this building goes up in flames. The IDF says it's been targeting Hezbollah facilities, often in residential areas.
Just heard it, very loud bang, and then more smoke rising from an area that looks like the road to the airport in the south. Looks like there was quite a large flare, quite a loud bang. It looks like they might be striking the same area multiple times. They've come back and hit the same target.
Just before, the IDF posting to social media, urging residents to leave immediately.
We are pushing Hezbollah further north. So far, the forces from the ground and air have eliminated about 440 terrorists.
Morning light revealing multiple impact sites around the city's southern suburbs. The assault has forced more than 1.2 million Lebanese people from their homes.
Israel is hitting Lebanon every day and night. They are destroying Beirut. They already destroyed a lot of villages in the south. They already killed 2,000 civilians.
After evacuating 400 Australians, another 2 fully booked flights are departing Beirut today. More are planned.
It's a bittersweet moment, honestly. Like, I've got my family back still in Lebanon, but, I have to be safe.
I'm so lucky to be Australian.
Australia's Defence Minister calling the death toll in Lebanon totally unacceptable and saying the government is working to end the cycle of violence.
Israel clearly has a right to defend itself, and that does include a right to respond, but the manner in which it defends itself obviously matters.
On the eve of the October 7 anniversary, the French president has gone a step further, calling for an arms embargo against Israel.
What a disgrace. Well, let me tell you this. Israel will win with or without their support, but their shame will continue long after the war is won.
A defiant Benjamin Netanyahu says having ground troops in Lebanon has changed the course of the war, as he plans retaliation against Iran. US officials have voiced support for Israeli strikes against Tehran. The US president says he's yet to speak to the Israeli Prime Minister directly. Hezbollah has continued to fire across the border, with large rocket barrages putting the Israeli Iron Dome to the test. Militants and IDF forces are also fighting on the ground in the south. That conflict has been largely contained to Lebanon. The region fears a war between Israel and Iran may have much broader impacts. Eric Dworchak, ABC News, Beirut.
All right, so check this out.
Yeah, please go talk first because I'm just too disgusted and I know I go on a rant. So,
well, here's my thing. I know we're not supposed to say this in America, but look, no, Israel is the bad guy here because what happened on October 7th did not happen in a vacuum. Okay. And if you oppress a group of people for their identity and you wage wanton violence, we've been saying for years where the resistance in Gaza does an attack with rocks and pistols, and then Israel comes in with tanks and mortars. And then it goes back and forth and back and forth. But my question to people is, if someone is oppressing you, what are the terms of resistance? It's the similar question that I ask here in America as a Black person under the American occupation. The European mindset, because these are European Jews, by and large, that run it, okay? The nation is all types of Jewish people, but the mentality is very European. I am going to hit you, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to harass you at every step, in every corner. But if you dare raise your hand in defense of yourself, you are now instantly a terrorist and worthy of extinction. This is what America did to the Native Americans, indigenous people. They came in, they said they wanted it. They said, we'll fight you for it. And then they said, oh, you dare fight back against me? And they wiped them out, genocide. Africans were enslaved. They said that you couldn't have any weapons, you couldn't congregate, you couldn't learn your own language, you couldn't speak your own language, you couldn't even read our language because they had to keep you oppressed and under control in this pressure cooker. And each time there was a slave revolt, or each time there was one person who dared to raise their hand in defense of their life against the slaveholder or one of his minions, they didn't just kill that person. They killed everybody they could find. Okay, this is the European mindset. This is the culture. And this is your good Europeans and your bad Europeans. I'm just saying on a broad scale, because here in America, we are dealing with a version of this yet again, which is there is a threat, a perceived threat, not a real threat, but a perceived threat of a loss of influence and power. And because of that, you're seeing crackdowns politically, socially, and interpersonally all across the country. It's all about we must remain on top. We must remain dominant no matter what the other people's lived experience is. And you better take it, because if you fight me back, I will destroy you. Okay? Israel occupies this land. Israel has the right to exist. Israel has their homeland. You can debate all day long how they got it and why they there and all of that. We ain't going to unwind that. Israel exists. It's going to exist. The problem, one of the problems, though, is Israel is not satisfied with what it has. Israel wants to expand like any other colonizer expands. And the same people that were in their way when they put their country there are now outside of their country. And you listen to the emissaries of Israel, and they tell you that we have to treat these people this way. Because if we don't treat them this way, they will begin to fight us. The only reason you feel like you have to keep beating someone is because you're afraid of them fighting back. And they will openly tell you that's why they do what they do. And so they destroy Gaza. They destroy the West Bank. They go after, what is it, the Upper Peninsula, or whatever the right term is. All of these things to keep these people in their place. But that wasn't enough. Then they said, wait a minute. Iran, the boogeyman, who's not attacked anybody. Yeah, they do proxy stuff, but America does proxy stuff. France does proxy stuff. All people do proxy stuff. But apparently Iran's the bad guy because they dare to fight back. Okay, cool. All right. So you attack Iran because they dare to be sympathetic to Hamas. Okay. So you're killing Palestinian civilians because of a terrorist group. Because of the terrorist group, not their government, not any, they're a terrorist faction, and you're willing to destroy everybody and everything. Then go after everybody who's their friend. That's how you ended up in the war, fighting Iran, trying to get Iran to fight back harder. But Iran is very intelligent. It's an old nation, and they're very measured in their responses because they know what will happen if they truly fight back. But Israel is still frustrated because this is all about Bibi Netanyahu not going to prison. So Israel's still frustrated. So they're like, okay, we have to find a way to keep America engaged and ultimately get America in this fight. So now they attack Lebanon. Who else can we think of decided that we had a problem with one country, but we couldn't fight that country? So we destroyed another country. And then while we were destroying that country, we decided to attack their friend. Sounds like America. The whole thing is so disgusting to me. And then underneath all of it is religion. Now, I'm not blaming religion. I'm blaming the people who use religion as a shield to cause mayhem. I saw the video Marlon just showed, and all I could think of were the people who died and didn't even know they were about to die. We're talking about. Go ahead.
They had apartment buildings.
Yeah, they were in the center.
That wasn't a headquarters. They have killed over 1,000 Lebanese civilians, innocents. That number's probably higher now. But I mean, they destroyed one of the major highways going in and out of Beirut, and 3 times, actually. They sent bombs down. The Lebanese army engineers come in and they make shifts and they try as much as they can to patch it up, get more people out, because there are all kinds of people in the suburbs of they're Christians. There's so many kinds.
Did you notice in the video the bright cross on the building?
Yes, I did. I've seen that. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
No, because they don't believe Arabs are human.
There we go, Anna. That's why I had to cool down. And I got to remember that this is the first hour. So I'll try my best not to use any foul language.
But to finish the story, just
go ahead.
Really quickly, The Army of Engineers in Lebanon, they came back to fix that bridge 3 times, highway 3 times, and on the 3rd time, because they always still bombed it right after. The 3rd time, they didn't even wait for the Army of Engineers to leave. They killed a person. And, you know, they had to go in and evac his body out. And still, there are tons of little communities that are huddled in tents right now. They don't know whether they should leave, try to get out of the city, or could they have a better go of it if they're actually still there? Are they going to be shot down from the air, or is it going to be the ground invasion that comes in? You know, they're between a rock and a hard place. Yeah. So that's just what I wanted to say, Marlon.
Thank you. Susan said my screen went all wonky. I don't have any issues on this side at all. I haven't had any issues. So maybe reboot your computer or get out of YouTube and come back in and see if that fixes it. But I don't have any issues.
Yeah, Susan, did it go down when any one of us was talking? Did you miss something? Try to let us know.
Yeah, just let us know what it looked like on your end.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say is going to sound so elementary. It's going to sound like I'm being insulting, and I'm not trying to be insulting to anything. They're bombing just for the sake of bombing now. Okay? You can give me the history and all this other stuff and things. I'm not jumping on you, but the religion and all this other stuff. At this time right now, as I'm speaking, you're bombing just a bomb. You got people who woke up one day in their apartments, in their houses. An hour later, they're trying to find shelter for one, because they don't know where the bomb is coming from. And then 2, now you're a refugee. All within an hour.
Imagine a bomb dropping on America because Russia was angry that we were interfering with their war in Ukraine. Right? It's just stop killing people. That's
it's just
all the way around.
Boggling that y'all trying to make this so freaking complicated. And that's what pisses me off. It is as simple as you got a madman with a lot of weapons. It's that simple.
And a friend with even more weapons.
And a friend with even more. And other friends who letting them borrow.
Yeah. One angle that doesn't get talked about a lot, I just heard it the other day and it made sense to me, is the angle about Joe Biden. And I think it's like Kamala Harris is still his VP.
Right.
And there are a lot of indications that while she's also pro-Israel relationship, which is an American mainstay, so okay, fine. But she's not as gung-ho as Joe. Because Joe comes from a different time. Joe comes from the Iran-Contra era, right? So to me, because Joe's the president and he's a very intelligent man, and he's sympathetic to Bibi Netanyahu, regardless of how Bibi treated Obama, regardless of how Bibi's treated him, regardless of how Bibi is treated in this country. He feels that he must defend Israel carte blanche, no matter what. And so it's like he's painting Kamala into a corner. Similar to what Trump did as he was leaving office, when he struck that deal in Afghanistan. He did it in the 9th hour so that when the transition happened, they would be handcuffed and with limited options on how to respond to this withdrawal. To me, Biden is doing that to Kamala. I wouldn't even put it past Biden to be so offended, because he's every right to be offended, so offended that he would let Trump take over. Because Biden ain't long for the world, and he's well taken care of. His family's well taken care of. That part, I'm going to hang on the hook of conspiracy theory. But coming down to more practical means, what he's doing is almost forcing Kamala to be quiet and forcing Kamala's administration, should she win, to have to go to war. It's crazy. And there's no accountability for any of this, any of it, no matter how you come at it, right? Israel has a right to defend itself. I'm 100% there. You'll get an argument from me. Now, granted, Israel started this fight, in my opinion, but okay, you can't.
Other countries have a right as well. Then,
but as long, and that's the thing right there, Anna. Every country has a right to protect its sovereignty, which is exactly why Israel won't allow that to be a nation with sovereignty. That right there. Yeah. So long as they can keep Palestine from being an actual nation, then they're really just, I don't know, savages or something. That's how they can treat them.
They were in the middle of negotiating. They were the closest they had ever been to a ceasefire when they took out the leader of Hezbollah.
Yeah, because Bibi doesn't want a ceasefire.
He doesn't want it. He doesn't care about the refugees. He is absolutely the bad guy.
Yes.
In this.
His people know he's a bad guy. His people don't want him. But you can't get rid of him. Right? So it's horrible. I feel so bad also for the people of Israel.
To have hundreds of rockets.
Yeah, the vast majority. I'm not worried about rockets coming at them, because real talk, your nation is being attacked, not you, and your nation is garbage. But the individuals there aren't making these decisions, right? And
there's a lot of protests.
Right. They would rather a ceasefire be struck, get their family and friends back home. If they're dead or alive, I want them back. And protect us, all right, increase our defenses and all that good stuff and whatever you got to do. But to go and you're now fighting in 3 countries. How are you?
And don't forget the
Yemeni
Houthis.
So what?
Don't forget the Yemeni Houthis. This is going on so many different fronts in that tiny little area.
Because we've demonized what any Arabs, and like Parker saying, his approval has gone up since he attacked Lebanon, because new wars often do rally around the flag. And which is why he keeps doing this stuff. And if he can get this to go into a regional war, even better.
And the countries around him know that that's what he wants. That's why, in great measure, that is what Iran is doing. And the way they responded, I did not hear about many deaths after the rockets fell. It took out infrastructure and mainly roads. But they're really careful.
And what has been the European response? The American European response, the Israeli European response, and like France. What they have said is Iran is showing that they're weak. What? So restraint is weakness. Restraint is weakness. That's the game that's being played, because they want the response. It's like the bully who just keeps prodding you and picking on you. He wants to fight you, but he knows he'll get in trouble because he's the bigger guy if he just hauls off and hits you. So instead, it's give me a reason, give me a reason, give me a reason, and they'll just keep pushing you and pushing you, so that when Iran finally, okay, I'm ready to fight back. Now you got land invasions, and they want to do to Iran what they did to Iraq. Let's just be real. They wanted to do it for the last 40, 45 years. That's what they want, right? Like, I don't know how accurate to the fullest extent, but a lot of this goes back to the American coup inside of Iran to destabilize their government. And when it failed, America did what it's done to Haiti, what it's done to Honduras, what it did to El Salvador, what it's done all around the world. When we try to destabilize you and you fight back and you stop us, now you're enemy number one, and Cuba. And we're going to make sure that you never get to grow until you bow.
All right, everybody. Let's move on to our final story of the night. Hurricane Helene. I said it correctly. Here's the latest update on Hurricane Helene, who has affected multiple southern states. And we'll also get a death toll to date on what happened, the aftermath.
We'll cover the nation tonight. Cleanup following Helene's underway across several southern states where nearly 700,000 homes remain without power. As CBS's Christiane Benavides reports tonight, the storm's death toll continues to climb. As of right now, it stands at least 225.
More than a week after Hurricane Helene crashed ashore, the full extent of the damage is still coming into focus. In western North Carolina, Ben Phillips is shoveling a thick coat of mud and debris that's considered hazardous out of his home.
It's heartbreaking to everything we had in that house and all the memories we had with our kids.
He lives in the town of Marshall, where the North Carolina flood map shows only a 1% chance of flooding. Out of more than 8,000 properties in the county, just 98 had flood insurance. In hard-hit Asheville, this group of volunteers drove 5 hours to serve a hot meal.
We had people who are here in Asheville who have lost everything, and they're coming to help other people.
With communications still spotty, North Carolina resident Sam Perking hiked 11 miles and up 2,200 feet of elevation through downed trees, power lines, and mudslides to reach his parents, whom he hadn't heard from.
They were completely trapped. The road was impassable from trees and washouts.
The job he did and making the effort to come up and to see us. Oh.
The ongoing cleanup stretches from Florida to as far north as Virginia. Helene is already the second deadliest storm to hit the U.S. mainland since Katrina 19 years ago. Christiane Benavides, CBS News.
It is horrible to see those things. I have friends in North Carolina, and they are they know they're going to be out of power for at least 2 weeks, maybe stretching out to a month. It's incredibly hard. And one of the things that the support group that I facilitate, we're going to go over emergency, what you should do, what you should have, things, in a lockbox, medicines, and just how to be the most prepared you absolutely can be. Because this is going to just start getting worse and worse. They're already buckling down for hurricane number 2 to hit Florida. It's horrible. Sorry, Marilyn, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. I was just going to say it's horrible. I just heard this morning that my sister and family and my dad are okay. They're near Asheville. All I was going to say was that the storm didn't have that huge of an effect compared to Charlotte. Lots of down trees, systems going out and things like that. Now, to say something like Charlotte was not greatly affected compared to 2.5, 3 hours from Charlotte of a city underwater, of crashing trees into houses, of communications being completely cut off from the outside world.
Most people will not have flood insurance.
No,
no, it ain't gonna happen. Very few people have flood insurance. Period.
They
says like 2%
of 2,000 homes in Asheville or one of the towns of 2,000 homes. Only 67 of them had flood insurance.
Almost guarantee you those are high net worth people.
Yeah.
It is. Now, let me make this political. Project 2025. One of the cuts is FEMA. One of the cuts is the emergency broadcasting system, the early warning system. These are the cuts they're going to ask for. And I don't mean cuts like let's cut the budget a little bit. So we say, no, they want to get rid of them.
Well, if you don't know about bad things don't happen. Isn't that Trump? Wasn't that Trump's approach to COVID?
What? Oh, no.
The reason why we have so many cases is because we keep testing for them. If we stop testing, then we won't have as many cases. Well,
and if we don't have FEMA, then
if we don't have FEMA, then the government isn't having to cut these big checks. You know, and conservatives, because that's where this is coming from, are very big on, well, you know, the church and the nonprofit community, they'll step up and with what? Right? Who do you think funds a nonprofit and funds church outreach? The government, right? The government.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The churches will take care of a national disaster.
Yes.
In the town.
That's what they think.
So the storm, Marjorie Taylor agreed, is going to go around the churches.
Well, the Democrats, if they just plan the route for the hurricane, it could do that because, you know, apparently the Democrats control the hurricanes and the weather. But no, all jokes aside, but seriously, they really do believe this. And you know how they're anti-intellectuals. Even their intelligent people act unintelligently because that's the mood, right? So they'll take the clip you just shared, which showed those local organizations coming down and cooking, and that son who risked life and limb to go see about his parents up in the mountain. And they will say, see, more good people would step up if the government got out the way. That's their logic. And the numbers don't work that way. The math ain't
We
bad.
are the government.
But they say we shouldn't be. The government should only be there for military protection. Yeah, that's pretty much all they want the government to do. They don't care if they're poisoning the water. They don't care if it's poisoning the food, because that's really only going to affect the people who don't deserve to be alive anyway, right? So that's how they like if they could get rid of, they would get rid of any protections for people with disabilities, because those people are considered to be flawed in some way. So they don't feed the machine, so the machine doesn't need them. Or, children are the responsibility of their parents, and that's it. And any child that's not being well taken care of, well, that's because that child wasn't meant to be taken care of. That's their view, right? And at the same time, they hold the Bible and talk to other stuff. But what I have noticed is when they get to talking the Bible, they hang out in the Old Testament a whole lot. They don't spend much time in that New Testament.
Whole lot.
But it's that mentality, and it's shameful. But anyway, pulling out of that, the concern with that I look at it is, okay, the storms are going to keep coming, and saying that this is like the worst storm as far as impact and damage since Katrina 19 years ago, it doesn't say much. It doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
Because Katrina was a Cat 4. This one was a Cat 4, I want to say. I think it was a 4. At least when it landed, it was a 4. But the problem is the amount of water that it brings in, and it floods upwards, right? If it comes into the Gulf of Mexico and hits Louisiana just right, it floods everything because it overflows whatever that main river is. I forgot what it's called. But that's how you end up with flooding. The Mississippi River, probably. That's how you end up with flooding all the way into the middle of the country. Over here with the situation with this storm, you got flooding that went all the way into North Carolina for a storm that made landfall in Florida, right? Because the infrastructure is weak. Okay. We've eliminated what nature does naturally, because we tore out all the trees, we tore out all the rivers and waterways that naturally develop themselves to get rid of excess, and we've artificially created alternatives. And it's not up to the task, because now instead of getting one of these monsters every 20 years, we get these monsters at least once every 2 years. And that's a problem. And this thing that's coming up now, the new one, here's hoping that it continues on its path and it goes across Florida and all off into the ocean. But it's landing where we're already heavily saturated. So that water doesn't have anywhere to go. So we're going to have another disaster, another crisis to deal with. So I don't look at this as being political per se. I look at it as being America stopped investing in itself. That's how I look at it. And now we're paying the price.
I don't have anything to say. I did, but I didn't have anything to add. Anna, did you have anything?
Try to be as prepared as you possibly can is what I will keep on tweeting. If you know that a storm is coming close to you, make sure that you do have food, water, medication. Make sure that your neighbors are safe. And do they need anything? We keep talking about community, and that takes somebody to outreach their hand and say, do you need any help? And then that person will know they do have an ally out there. Somebody who cares about their humanity. And when it comes to these storms, I don't care which way you vote. I just want to make sure you're safe.
And the sad thing, another sad part about all of this is nothing exists in a vacuum. There are ties that bind so many things together. So one of the things, like you just pointed out, which I often talk about, community. But a community without resources is
right.
It's survivors. It's the survivor's dilemma all over again. So where are the storms causing the most havoc? in the places that are most prone to flooding,
Mm-hmm.
in the places that sit below sea level, in the places that have the homes that are not constructed as strongly. They're older homes, things like that. If the infrastructure goes down, it's oftentimes in areas with a lower tax base. So the local municipalities are not as prepared to respond, and they have to wait for federal help. That's a delay, right? Then we have the federal government can't unilaterally come in and try to help a state. The state has to invite the federal government in. It's another delay. So we have all of these things going on, and at this, and the people who suffer the most. Now, all people are suffering, but the people who suffer the most are the ones least able to survive it. Right? Stock up on your medications. We got people who can't afford their medications now. Right? If you know the storm is coming, try to get out of Dodge. I ain't got no car. I ain't got no money. Or my medication has to be refrigerated. So I can't just up and go. Right?
It's Katrina all over again. When they were saying, it's your responsibility. We told you the storm was coming. To get out of the neighborhood. And thousands of people went where?
Right.
And how?
But now, and see, here's the thing. If America can't respond to children being gunned down in their classrooms, because the ones who have the power to lobby their officials or actually make changes, their children aren't affected. This is a very similar situation. All right. The people who have lost everything, they also lost their political power. They lost it right along with their house and everything else. So who is going to advocate for them? Who is going to do anything for them? It's such a sad thing that if it doesn't touch most of us personally, we simply don't care. And then for some of us who do care, we still don't care, but so far, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have that many resources. So we got to hold on to our resources. And it's a doom loop. It's sad, but I don't see it getting any better. I actually see it getting a whole lot worse.
A final comment of the first hour. What do you think of the idea of a law either requiring companies to pay employees for days missed due to the hurricane, or have a government program that compensates for lost wages?
I don't agree with either of those solutions. Because one, the company, what do companies exist for?
Making money.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why a company exists. Okay. It provides a service or a product, and it makes money. And with that money, it helps people pay their bills, support their family, and continue keeping the economy going. So if I run a daycare, why? And I just lost everything, right? It's not like I had the doors open. Okay. Why am I going to be required to pay for people who ain't working? With what money? With what money? Right? Yeah. So there's insurance plans that exist that companies can purchase, business continuity, which will help them in the event of these types of issues. They make a claim to an insurance company. Insurance company is supposed to, pay out on it, but then that creates a whole nother bureaucracy. But it's there. But you have to qualify for it and all this other stuff. So no, I don't agree with the companies being called on it, because I think people somehow think companies have more money than they do. They don't. Right? Not talking specifically of you, Parker, but just us, big us in general. We really need to take some business courses. We really do, because the money is not infinite. The people who have the money are hoarding it. and they're not the people you think they are, right? The people who run JP Morgan Chase are not the same people who run the oil change, service shop, right? So the money doesn't move that way. For the second part, a government program that compensates for lost wages. Again, that one I really don't like. I really, really don't like that one. Because what do you do for the people who don't earn wages? Right? And what do you do for the people who earn high wages? Right? So that one becomes very problematic. What I think America really should do is get back to investing in its population. And that would mean the child tax credit. That would mean a minimum income benefit. That would mean a better tax system, right? Now, something like this happens, your direct deposit is still coming, right? If everybody's getting, I'm just making up a number, everybody's getting $1,000 minimum income benefit. Hurricane or no hurricane, that $1,000 happens hitting your account. Now we're right, like there's a floor, right? With that $1,000 you can go get a hotel. But that $1,000, right, is not foolproof, but it helps the people at the bottom have some mobility when otherwise they simply do not. So yeah, those are my thoughts on those two things. I just don't think government is built to respond that particular way. What the government okay, here we go. The government owes us to invest in the type of infrastructure and community development that would mitigate these types of events. That's where the government needs to put its money, right? Don't just throw money at me after the event. Help mitigate the event. But we say that the government is supposed to run like a corporation. And if you run a government like a business, then they would never do that because that's not profitable.
The only thing that I would even say about is the last part, or a government program that compensates for lost wages, like the PPP that we had during COVID. How did that go? And I'm not jumping on you, Parker. I'm being for real when I say this. How did that work out?
The thieves got a lot, and the people who needed it didn't get there in time.
No. All right. Seriously, final comment. Yeah, that's true. Some instance in places I have worked, the power. In some instance, in places I have worked, the power went out and they paid us for the rest of the days for the day's work. But that was just one day thing, whereas hurricane damages last much longer. And you have a company that can afford a day wage.
Yeah.
Because they know we're not going to have to pay you the rest of the week.
Where's the small business going to get that kind of money at?
Yeah. That's
Especially
where the real
if it can't be open.
That's the wrinkle.
Yeah.
Right. You work for Walmart. Walmart can float, a couple of days. You work for Joe's Bait and Tackle.
Man.
Joe ain't got it.
That's the bottom line to it. All right, everybody. That is our first hour. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. We're going to go ahead and get into the second hour by taking a 3-minute break with Am I the A-Hole? Positive Story of the Week, Mafia Video of the Week, and, of course, Foxy's Video of the Week. 3-minute break to reboot and refresh, and we'll see everybody on the other side. Stay tuned.
I could take a break from this world, running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't
are back, and without further ado, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/Tracy Media Fan. Help support Tracy and all of her endeavors. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BoreliaEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. Please do not forget to go to Theus's website, Our United Core, Communities Built Movements. And if you need to reach me, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RADTP@outlook.com. And I'm going to do something that we did none of last night. It is the Mama Heart Hour, the second hour. We went the whole second hour last night without doing that. So, ooh.
I'm really sure she would forgive us.
Yeah, considering that I made the decision, but Anna agreed. For the first time on this show, we are going to do an election night show. Not only because it's the election night thing, obviously it's not because of the election night, because I would never do that. I'm doing it because it's Mama Hart's birthday and I wanted to celebrate. We'll probably stay on for an hour or so. Nothing long, nothing tedious, but it will be election night. So I'll keep the ticker up in the corner somewhere just to see what's going on. But it's all in celebration of Mama Hart's birthday. So yeah, we'll be there. Great.
Do you know how terrible it's been to have your birthday counted down by the election?
Yeah, I can imagine. Great first hour. So appreciate fitting all those news stories in 1 hour. Yeah.
Hey, you're pretty good.
Can I be on the election night show?
I probably won't be here, so
I don't care.
Not my fault.
I
can already kind of tell what the commentary will sound like.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't care, because I know what the commentary is going to be like. I already know exactly what's going to come out of Tracy Carson's mouth. Already.
But yeah, just for everybody set expectations, which I think is important.
Yeah,
no, not about that. Just with the election, we will not know anything for days, and then it's going to go into the courts no matter what. And for those who don't know, here in Georgia, one of the games that has been played, and the game isn't over yet, because this Republican legislature, they have rules in place to where now all of our votes have to be hand counted the day of the election. Now, how that really messed things. First of all, nobody does that. Okay. But this was all done so that it can throw off our most populated counties, like Fulton County. Because Republicans have hated Fulton County for as long as you can remember, because that's where a lot of Black people live. Okay. There's a lot of white people who live there too, but they're your Trump voting white people, because they're in the high income areas of Fulton County. But it's very densely populated with Black people.
Is that where Atlanta is?
Atlanta it has a couple different, but mainly it's Fulton.
Okay.
So that's where this game is about. Because if you look in Georgia, there's like Georgia, Savannah, Augusta, Macon, maybe Columbus, possibly. Those are your blue spots when you look at our state map. So what they're trying to do is make it harder to get those things counted, so that it gives it time for one, some of these locations to say, well, I refuse to certify, and two, to push things into the court. That's all.
And Tracy, I didn't hesitate. I hesitated for a reason, and it wasn't because it is because of you, but it isn't. Because I know where you would drive the conversation when it comes to the voting, and just like Thea says, we ain't gonna know jack squat the same day. So that's why I don't ever do election day broadcast, because it's like you're not going to know anything. You're literally not going to know anything. You're not even going to get stuff from California until so. I'm just not. That's why I never do the broadcasting for the election. And now with this and it going to court and everything, I'm like, broadcast the election for what?
Yeah, we already know what it's going to be like, but I understand why people are interested. Yeah, they're already there. They stay in the courts, and that's the power of the Republican Party. And the Democratic Party is spending a lot of money on lawyers, a lot of money, but they're in a defensive posture, right? They can't do anything until the Republicans do something. So Republicans are getting right up to deadlines and then pushing something into the court, and then the Democrats have to rally to respond to it. And that's happening across the country, but it's really bad in certain states. North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, the usual suspects.
We will know the results of the non-swing states, which is the most important part of LOL. Not really. Texas is not moving unless we're talking about the Senate, which
certain things we will have some results that night.
We'll have Senate information. We'll have governor information. We'll have those
leans. We'll have leans, and we'll have a few that are declared and stuff.
Right.
But it'll be the usual suspects, the same ones we've seen for the last 6 election cycles. And I get it. Some people like the experience, right? It's kind of like watching the peach drop, or I'm sorry, that's a Georgia thing. Watching the apple or the ball drop in New York.
Ball
right?
drop. Yeah.
It's an experience. Okay, see.
And that's the conversation I knew we was going to have.
Why? That's why.
That was the conversation we was going to have.
It was a loaded response meant to get a response out of people. I'm sorry. I love you, and I get third party interest. I do. I do. You've heard me say plenty of times we need to go into a parliamentary type of a system designed for America. But goodness, I don't even know a decent way to say it, but it's like the sloganeering. It adds nothing. It adds nothing, especially when there's a very clear reason why third parties deal with the obstructions that they do. And does it make it right? No. But it's not like it's a mystery. And the Republican Party, I'm going to hit this real quick for those out there who may not be as familiar. The Republican Party is 95% homogenous. They move in lockstep because they have one real base. The Democratic Party is a collection of aggrieved groups. All the various groups that have been held back, obstructed, pushed down, marginalized, or what have you, they all come together and they comprise what is the Democratic Party. So when you bring in a third party, and you should bring third parties. But when you bring in the third party into this equation, where are the votes being taken from? Right? That's why the Democratic Party fights to keep third parties off. And then, who did they do this with? Cornel West. Where's his base? He ain't got one. And what's that dude? Kennedy.
Kennedy.
You can't be. You can be in your right mind and support Cornel West. You cannot be in your right mind supporting Kennedy. You can't. And he was an obvious spoiler for how he even structured his candidacy. Literally, the right put him in this to cause dysfunction with the left. And then when that started to fade, then he went and ran his own campaign, which was getting in the way of the right. And then he joined the right. Like, you can't, it's not a mystery. Anyway, I'm sorry. I went off on this tangent. And it's not fair because Tracy didn't have the opportunity to really, speak her piece. But he took a cheap shot and I had to say something.
And Kennedy dropped out and endorsed Trump a few weeks ago.
Exactly.
Kennedy dropped out and endorsed Trump immediately.
But what did he do before he dropped out and endorsed Trump?
The same thing that Vance did.
No, what he did before he dropped out and endorsed Trump was he reached out to Kamala's team and said, strike a deal with me and I will support you. And Kamala's team wouldn't work with him. So then he went to the Trump team and he struck his deal. He went to wherever would take him.
Right.
So that was not a basis of true. Yeah. Okay. He was polling well with DNC voters. Okay. Where is he now? Where is he now? What are his policies? Who is he supporting?
I mostly heard people making fun of him.
No, he was taking votes from the DNC before he lost his credibility. Once he lost his credibility, then he became a problem for the RNC. So they absorbed him because Trump is transactional. But this takes me back to the racism thing and the violence thing, right? How can you be pro-racism and pro-violence and then join that? What does that say about you? What does that say about him? No, RFK, right? Okay.
Say that again?
All right.
Say that again?
Donald Trump's ticket is nativist, protectionist, racist, and violent. All of them. All of them.
Yes.
No matter what other policies you think he may have, you know those four things. Then you, who say that you care about people and health and decency, join him. What does that say about you?
You're not really about decency and
right?
So I thought I heard you say when you're pro racism, and I was like, well, isn't that you're for racism and you can join the race?
Basically, Kennedy presents himself as being a man of the people who is not racist and he's not xenophobic and he cares about health and he's anti-vaccine. That's how he presents himself. That's how he's trying to move. And he joins the campaign that is racist, xenophobic, violent, and they were responsible for giving us the vaccine in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like you all up in the air like that. I can't take you serious? I can't take you serious. Come on. And when you support him, can't take you serious either. This man got a brain worm in his head, probably from eating wild game. Did the bear thing. Nobody in their right mind does that. And it wasn't like they made this up about it. The man said it himself. This is his own story. He was bragging about it himself. What? So yeah, he's not the best example of a third party.
I'm sorry. It may seem like that I'm low energy, and I am low energy. I just can't take these people seriously anymore. It's just like we need to have a better America like we had 3 years ago. What?
When we were stuffing bodies in freezer trucks.
No, 3 years ago, you was not president. What?
That's also true.
I'm just like, I can't do it. It seems like I'm not interested, but these people keep saying these wild, idiotic, outlandish statements day after day after day after day, and it's still being supported. And I can't take you seriously anymore.
And if you tell a lie and someone points out that you told a lie and you still double down and follow through with it, I got a problem with you.
I can't take you seriously anymore. And you're mad at me because I'm not taking you seriously, because I know your fault is in violence. That's your go-to plan on everything, but we don't take you seriously. I'm still going to keep pointing out how idiotic your planning is, your ideas are, your execution, and you just keep, but, I can't take you seriously anymore. I'm sorry. It's been 8 years now. 8. You literally looking at one person, and this is Marlon saying this, not Radical Truth to Power. When I'm telling you there's a party, the MAGA party, who I will really want for you to go away. Because seriously, I can't take you seriously anymore. You're not rational anymore. You don't take logic anymore. You don't take facts anymore, even when it's shown to you that it's factual. I really want you to go away. Just bye. The last silly thing I heard out of your mouths was Trump said if he loses this election, he is not going to run again. So we really need to make sure that he wins this election. The fuck?
Well, my thing about the MAGA people, there's nothing you can do about MAGA people. At this stage of the game, there's nothing you can do. We are 30 days from an election. It's done. It is what it is. And third-party people for this election, you're done. It's nothing you can do. It's done. That's cool. But we can continue the discussion. The discussion can continue. You can still do your building. You can still do your planning. You can still execute on things for the next election and the midterms and the ones that follow. I just would like for people to have constructive conversation, though. Come to me with more than a slogan. Come to me with more than just insulting someone's name. Do better, right? Come to me with how you would wage or navigate. I don't know about Marlon, but I'm definitely not. But
I will never, ever in my existence take a liking to anybody who shifts as the wind blows. And that's RFK. If he was a Democrat, he was a Democrat because the Democratic Party was benefiting him. It wasn't benefiting him no more, so he switched to the Republican Party. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I don't like you. I don't like you at all. You give me nothing to like. Give it a shot. Tell me something I should like about RFK. And don't tell me about what he was when he was with the Democratic Party, because like I just said, he left the Democratic Party.
I just think sometimes people are so frustrated with the overall system that they will just become anti to be anti. I really think that's what happened.
But they be anti because to be anti is popular.
Well, and it's always going to be popular because it has the lowest risk. If you're against something, you have an endless argument. The most difficult thing to be is for something. That's the most difficult thing to be because you have to defend. You don't just get to attack, right? If you are in defense of, I still call people homeless because they ain't got no home. I understand the new language is unhoused, but to me that sounds bad too. No, I'm not attacking the term. I'm just saying I'm about to use the word homeless, and I'm explaining why I use the word.
No,
homeless.
I never heard that was a new term. That's why I was saying.
Unhoused is the more current,
It's
term.
used a lot. Yeah.
But you can be pro helping people get housing, and now you are stuck in a position where you have to defend. Okay, how are you going to do it? Where are you going to put them? How are you going to fund it? Where does the money come from? Right? What happens to the people who work hard to get somewhere to live? And now you're just going to give this person to live. What happens when they destroy the house? What if they're on drugs? What if they do blah, blah, blah? You have to prepare to defend when you're pro.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're anti, all you have to do is what I just did. Throw questions. Just throw them out there. Right? I'm against the war in Ukraine. Okay. How would you get us out of the war in Ukraine? And what would it look like? Well, I never would have got us in it.
That's not an answer.
That time is gone. So if you become president now, you have to deal with the world as it exists now. What would be your method? Trump's method is, hey, I'll tell them to give up half the country so we can stop all this bloodshed and we're done. As though that's gonna last for more than 2 or 3 years while they build up a new border and then go get some more. Biden's plan is let's keep Russia mired down in Ukraine, losing citizens and soldiers, and we'll keep giving enough weapons to keep the fight going, but not the weapons to end the fight. Right? That's kind of the Biden plan. I would be interested. What is RFK's plan? What is Cornel West's plan? How do you navigate it? Right? And then the argument will come back. Well, they're not given a platform to speak. 2 of the most famous people in the country. They can get a microphone anytime they want one. They might not always get the microphone they want when they want it, but they can get a microphone anytime they want to. I'm just saying, what's the plan? How do you get Congress to work with you? How do you get governors to work with you? I want universal health care. Some people call it Medicare for all. How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it when your Congress doesn't want to work with you? How are you going to do it when your Supreme Court has at least 3 people who should be under investigation right now? So it's like, let's have those discussions. Let's actually have real discussions as opposed to Bomala or Genocide Joe or oh yeah, the cats and the dogs.
No, I was saying the attacks. Let's stop the attacks and let's have substance.
When you don't have a plan, that's your go-to.
This fool, just this last thing, and it's just because it's funny and everybody found it funny, and I still laugh sometimes when this man said, I have concepts of a plan, and it's been 10 years. You got concepts of a plan. Gotcha. Same plan that you were supposed to be giving us every Tuesday for 4 years.
So you didn't even write the title in that book of blank pages that you had sitting on the table as you have COVID.
Yeah. So it's just those things. It's those things. But I'm with Anna. Let's talk about the things, not the things around the things. Let's talk about the things.
I just can't. I think I'm gonna become an old man one day, and they're gonna say something. I'm just gonna stare at them and don't say nothing. Just drool running out of my mouth because you have killed brain cells in my head. I just can't do it
You
anymore.
absolutely can do that. In fact, that's often one of the best responses when somebody says something so outrageous. Just let it hang in the air.
I agree. I do that
I
rarely,
agree.
but sometimes when someone will say something and you just look at them like,
"Oh, you ain't got an answer for that, do I?"
No, I'm trying to understand what you just said to me.
No, that's what yeah. I want to say something to it, but
my favorite is you take it back to how your teacher did you in school. It's very effective. It works in customer service. It works in low key, like person to person debates and discussions. Repeat back to them what they said. Right? They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets. So who is it that's eating the pets? Who is it? Who is it?
The immigrants.
And so which immigrants are we talking about? Are these illegal immigrants?
The Haitian immigrants.
And did you? I heard that the cat that was in question was found by its owner, and she is a Donald Trump voter, and she went and apologized to her neighbors. Did you hear about that? Right? Like let's just go ahead and just wander on through this. But my favorite one is to go into their faith because I'm second hour. Yeah, I'm an asshole like that. You know,
I believe it.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know, right? Like before we even get into some of the politics stuff. Okay, how important is your faith to your life? Right? Just have a human conversation with them. How important is your faith to your life? Because we need to establish a baseline. And they'll say, well, I'm a Christian. I believe that Christ is the center of my life and that, whatever. And I'm okay, well, what does it mean to be Christian? I'm curious how you see it. Because the way I see it is to be Christian is a constant walk and effort towards being more like Christ of the Bible. And then they'll usually agree. Yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Now I'm going to fall short from time to time, and okay, all right. So if we're focused on Christ, there was a story, and see, I don't go to church that much anymore, so maybe you can help me. There was a story about the lady who I think she was caught in adultery, right? And Jesus did something with her. What happened? And then they'll tell you, right? And they're like, oh, do you agree with that? Because I think that's pretty cool. Like he just started writing names in the sand or writing something in the sand. We don't know what he was writing, but it was something that made them decide maybe we should move along now. Right? Jesus didn't attack her for being a fallen woman. Right? Mm-hmm. Jesus said what you do to the least of those you do unto me. So who are the least to you? Right? I sit there and have these conversations with you all day long. We have a good time. But I have to be in the mood for that.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I got to be in the mood for it. I agree with what you're saying. I probably do a lot of that stuff. I just got to be in the mood for it. And it's almost 10 o'clock on a Sunday. I ain't in the mood for it.
Yeah. When you look at a picture of Trump in a full suit standing in the water, holding paper towels, don't know how he ended up in the water or where the paper towels came from or why half the people that he's giving the paper towels to don't have any paper towels and they also standing in the water too. And you think it's real.
Am I the a-hole? Let's keep the stupidity train going. Sharing food.
I'm a 25-year-old guy, and I live with my 23-year-old girlfriend. Recently, I threw away the leftovers of a meal that I cooked because she said that she wanted to try some. For a bit of background, when we moved in together, we agreed that we would each only cook for ourselves and use our own dishes, which was my idea. The issue is that sometimes she'll ask if she can have a bite of my food that I'm cooking just to try it. Or she wants to eat some of the leftovers I cook, and then she offers to cook for both of us the next night. She now claims that it's a ridiculous rule to have, and that I should grow out of the rule by now. On to the incident. I had made a stir fry, and I was finishing putting the leftovers in a container when she blatantly told me to just leave it out so that she can have some. I, of course, said no, and that I don't want her to eat what I cook. And I put it in the container and into the fridge and started to leave the kitchen. I went to the living room to grab my phone before going back to the kitchen to grab a drink when I saw my girlfriend pulling my food out of the fridge and taking the lid off. I went over to the counter and grabbed the container and dumped the food in the trash to prevent her from eating it. She stayed silent the whole time before finally calling me a butthole and storming off. I don't really think that I'm the butthole, as we agreed to this arrangement before moving in. But some friends said that it's time to move on from my weird obsession and just share food already. So, am I the butthole? Also, OP clarifies that they don't share food, not even spices. So OP doesn't even share salt with his girlfriend.
First of all, fake. Second of all, yeah, he's a butthole. No, Martin, it's fake. No, it's fake. This is fake as the fakest of the fake. It's just beyond.
Sorry, I thought it was a real story.
No, this is beyond absurd. Somebody wrote a story to get some responses and some clicks.
A boyfriend and girlfriend, moving in together, and you do your. Sorry?
I'll say I agree with Tracy. I'm sorry.
I didn't even get to see what she said. It's hard for me to read.
She's saying leave the ass.
Girl, leave this a-hole. That's about the closest Tracy has ever come to cussing ever, even if it's in writing. So,
like, even if it's okay, you don't like sharing food, you gotta talk with your partner and explain that. There are lots of people that really do like to share their food. You can eat off my plate, kind of thing. She did push past his limits that, back when they were requests that do not eat my food. Him coming and slapping the food out to the garbage, like, if this was a real thing, yes, leave him. That is you're not made for each other, and you need to find somebody to whom food is not this kind of an issue. For some people, food is a really big issue, and you find out and adjust how to live with your partner.
There is not a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship in the world that should exist where we live together
put different
and
spices
completely different meals.
Different meals.
And you can't even use my Mrs. Dash. Are you serious? Okay.
No, it's not real. It's not real. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
I'm just trying to pull points out of it.
I know, because I had an issue with, and I'm
use
taking
your own dishes.
it from a totally different point. Not the middle where he wrote the letter. I'm going to the very beginning of the whole relationship. Now, you know, we move in together. You cook your own food and I cook my own food, and we don't share food. You agree with that?
What if you have two very different dietary, issues, needs?
But they don't.
No, they don't.
She can eat his food. She's willing to eat his food.
Look, you have two salt
I'm just
shakers,
saying, there are people out there that would have reasons to not mix up food with others.
Yes.
But
they shouldn't be dating.
This is ridiculous.
Because I'm willing to bet they exchange bodily fluids, even if it ain't nothing but a kiss.
Possible, yeah.
So,
I don't know.
But she can't use your Tupperware. I'd hate to see the toilet tissue arrangement in this house.
Oh,
you can't use my toilet paper. This is my toilet paper. Get your own toilet.
Oh my gosh! Please. Is there another? Can we see another video, please?
Mafia video of the week. I just love this video, and I chose this video because it is so hilarious.
It's not $2?
Nope, that's Foxy video, and I'm trying to move as fast as I can before she go to sleep so I can play her video.
Oh.
So, when you really just don't even know your children anymore, you need to stop. Just stop.
So I'm a 27-year-old woman who's no contact with my dad, and I have been for about 5 years. I had him blocked on everything except email until a few weeks ago. I never check my email, but on a whim, I was looking through it and I stumbled across an email that he sent me a little over a month ago. In the email, he basically demanded that I talk to him and work out our differences. He essentially talked to me like I was 10 and he can just order his way back into my life. Then, in the same email, he threatened me, saying that if I don't speak to him, he's gonna take me to court for grandparent rights to get access to my kids. On one hand, I'm floored and so shocked that he thinks talking to me that way will make me want him back in my life. But on the other hand, it's hilarious because I don't have any kids, nor do I want them. What a clueless, useless, garbage person.
Don't use a threat if you don't even know if the threat is viable. Like you just throwing stuff out there. And it seems like to me, sir, that you just trying to irk your daughter. Yeah, that's all it seemed like to me. You just want to irk her. You just want to piss her off. You just want to be controlling and realize you don't have any control over her. All right, try to get this moving on. Foxy's videos of the week.
I want Foxy to say yoo-hoo every time.
And she will.
I missed it.
Okay, let's get on here to get through it. This dude is hilarious. I love his content. I love the fact that he self-deprecation what everybody says, but he was funny to me.
Just paid off my student loan. It's tough getting older. Went into an antique store, they wouldn't let me leave. I tried using that face aging app. They said, nah, you're good. I'm officially an old man. I give unwanted advice to total strangers. I told a kid to pull his pants up, his underwear was showing. He mocked me, tried to give me a wedgie, but the joke was on him, I was wearing the pins. I went to the doctor because I thought I had arthritis. I don't. I have early onset rigor mortis. Anybody ever drop their phone in the toilet? There you go. I did, and after I did, I put my phone in a bag of rice. Anybody ever drop a bag of rice in the toilet? I joined a dating site for people my age called Carbon Dating. I asked a woman on the site for her number. She told me it was 140/95.
I thought he was hilarious.
Carbon Dating.
Early onset rigor mortis.
That was good too.
Oh God, that was hilarious. Thank you, sir. I wish I knew your name. I would give you all the kudos, but you were.
That's where laughing at yourself is just some of the best humor out there.
It is. Next video. Do you remember? It may be a repeat.
Do you remember?
Just today, I walked into my room, I looked around, I walked back out, I walked back in, I still wasn't given any kind of clues. Like there was nothing visual that was giving me that what was it? And I have a little wearable keep track of the heart. It took me like 4 times. I had to come back out and be like, what were we talking about? No, I don't remember. I mean, yes, I have neurological reasons why. I'm also 43.
And
baby.
I have baby. You are a baby.
I know. I am a baby. I love it.
I have went downstairs, downstairs to do something. I know what I went downstairs to do. And I did everything but it.
Oh, I'm worse. Have you ever had a thought it was a great thought, and then, like, if you're on Facebook or something and you just moved your finger, and all of a sudden, not only do you not remember what your great thought was, you don't even remember what the subject was of the great thought. Like, it's like completely wiped. I'm like, so then you start scrolling back up your feed, thinking maybe I left it back there. Something is going to remind me of my great thought. No, your thought was completely unoriginal. It's completely unrelated.
I do that when late at night. I sit there and I know it's time for me to go to bed. I just close my eyes a little bit, and I have these wonderful ideas for the show. Great, marvelous ideas for the show. This could take us to the stratosphere. Ideas for the show. Think I'm gonna pick up a pen and paper and write it down, knowing that I'm gonna forget as soon as I wake up tomorrow morning? No. I forget it before I even go to bed.
I would forget it before I could grab my phone and type the note. It's I don't know. I don't
This
know
is
what's
why
going on.
I keep an audio diary, and I know, some things will leave your head before in a moment. But when I do have an idea, I like to do make up stories to tell my nephew, and I'll have an idea for one, and I'll just really quickly, and I'll come back later and be like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." So
It's
once again, we have tools. It's how do we use them?
Yeah, I've recorded short videos because I know it was something that was like a good idea, but then it's stuck in my camera roll, and I don't ever know where it is. So I don't feel like going to look for it. And
Dude, that's where having it's an audio diary, and I think it's an app. It's just called Audio Diary. You can name what things are about. And a note taker, yeah, just easy notes is a good one where you can just speak into that and boom.
All right, everybody. Next video. When you're really just used to arguing.
So, I bought this cheese here. It cost me $40, and there is a hair stuck to it. Oh yeah, we can take that back. Wait, what? Here. Okay. Take this. Your next purchase is on us. Did you want to fight? Yes, please. I would like to have a little bit of a fight. Sure. Yeah. Where's your receipt? I don't have a receipt. Can't take it back without a receipt. Oh yeah. Well, the name of the store is stamped on the cheese. Okay? How do I know you didn't just beat up somebody and steal it? Who does that? You might. Really? Yeah, you look like the kind who might. I am going to go on Yelp and I am going to give this place a scathing review. Scathing. I'm going to blow up the internet. I'm going to break it.
Oh my God, you've scared me so much. Please take our money. Leave the cheese.
Thank you. Thank you. Was that so hard? It's called customer service.
Fine.
Thank you.
Fine.
Thank you. That was
You're
really
so welcome. A lot of people really like.
There are people who are like that, and that goes back to where you and me, Marlon, went back and forth with each other when it was about apologies. Where I'm saying if I was wrong and I apologize, it's over. And you were like, no, we're going to figure this out. We're going to take. It's a similar dynamic. It's a very similar dynamic. There's a hair on this item I bought from you. I'm sorry. I'll take that back. Here's a replacement and a gift certificate so you can buy whatever you want. Wait a minute. No, I'm not done yet. I want to know why there was a hair on it and what are you going to do to make sure there's no hair on the cheese going forward. And why are we still talking about this?
No, my favorite one has always been, can I speak to a manager? Sure. What's the problem? I just need to speak to a manager. Okay. What's the problem? I just want to speak to a manager. I don't want to speak to you. Like, okay, when I go to the manager, you can tell them they want to speak to you about, just give me a manager. You came here to fight. You came here to fight. And you just, that's what you came here to do.
And they do that all the time. They want whatever is the highest authority as though they're entitled to it. Like, honestly, man,
bow down.
Yeah, like my manager is responsible for $150 million department. Whatever your issue is, doesn't rise to that occasion. So, how can I help you? Right? But of course, you can't say that. But that's what you say. Oh, and you just sit there and stare at them. I don't know. How do you deal with these people? Because I was always in management, so it was kind of pretty simple for me. I'm like, well, I am a manager. I want your manager. Well, my manager doesn't even work in this building. So
it's where I'm at. It's true. I can call them, but you ain't gonna see them.
When I worked in the bakery, long time ago, we had the manager, the people who did the finessing stuff of the baked goods, put them in bags, make sure they look nice. And then we had the manager of the bakery. And if you started to even talk down to one of the people, like the manager would come and step in and be like, you have no right to talk to my people this way. And then, added benefit of the manager of the customer side of the bakery was the daughter of the guy who ran the bakery. You start yelling at his daughter, he takes that personal. And, like we had managers who were they were very protective and basically just step aside. You don't get to talk to people this way.
Yeah, my flow was pretty simple. It was like, you call me up there. More often than not, that means I got to come from the other side of the building to get to you. I get over there, and you immediately want to talk to me, and I'm not talking to you yet. I'm like, be just one moment, ma'am. I'll speak with you in a moment. I need to speak with my team member first. Mm-hmm. And right there in front of the customer, I'll have my team member tell me what's going on. And then the customer will try to interject, and one moment, ma'am. I'll be with you in just a moment. Because I need you to understand this is the person I trust. Right? I trained this person. So you tell me what's going on here. Then I dismiss my employee. They usually hate that part, but it is what it is. Now I'm going to dismiss you because I don't need you there to keep the tension going. And then I deal with the customer. Because what you're not going to do is disrespect my team member. So what I'm going to do is first show you that if you had just spoken to this person, you would have saved a whole lot of time.
Never mind. But okay, everybody, let's go ahead and get to it.
Is it Foxy's video?
This is Foxy's favorite video now, apparently. $2.
Please enter in the last 4 digits of your social security number.
Representative.
Please enter in the last 4 digits of your...
Representative.
Then you only got about $2. Shut up. $2. Jamal Anderson III. $2.27. That's what you got right now. Representative. What you need done for? You need done for $2. You need a representative $2.
I saw his mouth do it this time.
Slow down, buddy.
Disrespect. Jamal Anderson III. I love that.
I'm just laughing. The part that always gets me, and I don't even know why, is you need a representative for $2? Why you need a representative for $2?
What you gonna talk to them for?
The 38 cents was the interest. we gave you that. What are you talking about, bro? For $2?
This is like, what's his name on Popeye who would do the I'd gladly pay you?
Oh, Wimpy.
I'd gladly pay you $2, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's Wimpy.
Yeah.
Was it Wimpy? That was Wimpy.
I think so, yeah.
God.
It's like, I'm going to be paid on Friday, Come in.
Susan,
wait a minute. I was physically dragged out of a grocery store and left in a parking lot because I asked the manager not to talk to me.
Sound like there's some detail here, Susan.
Yeah, you leave it out for stuff, Susan. That
excuse me, sir. I would prefer not to speak with you. Hey, wait, what's going on?
Like that statement, like
I don't get it.
Got some bread and came home. There's more detail to this. There's more. That's a Tracy. Wait, there's more.
But wait, Susan, it probably involves a police report, so don't tell us nothing, okay?
Oh no.
I hope you're okay, because that's wild. That is wild. I hope you're fine.
Nobody has the right to put their hands on you. I'm sorry.
Hands on you unless there's a dangerous situation. There is some detailed missing. Susan, just keep it to yourself. We're getting great numbers. We're getting great numbers. Don't say
We start dropping back to oh dear. It's okay, Susan. We love you.
Apology. Let it go. Let it go. Anna, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me at borreliaetc.com. There's all kinds of links in there, including an email to reach me. And here on the weekends, having fun.
Yes.
Yeah, same as what well, no, except for the borreliaetc.com part. But go to borreliaetc.com. Check it out. Okay. The summer is over. Fall is here. It's not over, folks.
No.
Fleas and ticks and all them, they are still active. Plus, we're dealing with much more mild climates, so they ain't going dormant. So learn, be informed, understand some of the signs to look for. It's super important. Check out her site. Very informative and very peaceful. And then as for me, yeah, don't. I'm a work in progress.
Anna also has a YouTube page too. If I've never said anything, please go to that page. If you're stressed or have anxiety or things like that, go to Anna's YouTube video and walking through the woods. It is the most peaceful thing I have ever seen. Like I have taken some damn good naps after watching Anna's videos. It's just like, I'm good. I'm good. Ladies and
My
gentlemen,
channel ain't got but one video on it, so don't.
That much green will do it. It'll make you feel good.
I do hear that if you have sufficient amount of green, you do tend to feel a little bit better.
Yes.
As long as it's in my pocket. Man, are you gonna do any winter walks? Any snow walks?
Why you want her to walk in the snow?
I'm gonna be picking it up again, and
what is wrong with you?
Why would you?
I have some I basically need to get back into editing. I've been recording stuff, but having like the brain space when I went from having a migraine constantly from March to July, sometime in the summer, and maybe August, and it really just affected the way I could think, the way I could work, and I just started doing the procedure where my migraines are controlled again. So getting myself back into that work where I can fit in not only the support group but doing some editing and the dog. It's been a lot, but I will get back there.
Thank you, Anna.
Marlon wants to make sure you do it in the snow, though. You gotta do it in the snow.
You might have snow sometime, but
you act like I'm asking her to run a marathon through the snow. It's a walk.
In the snow.
In the snow, yes.
I hate the snow.
That's your problem. What that got to do with Anna?
She would be walking in the snow.
Pretty.
I would literally ask you this, because send me a video of you walking through the store. I can't get you a video of you being you.
Because you don't like me being me. You tell me I'm boring.
That is not you.
Okay.
How's it not me?
That's not you. That's
me.
you. This is you.
Which is me.
That video, I don't know who that is.
Me.
That's somebody who just got out of the.
Anna, be safe in the snow.
Thank you. I will. We have a nice trail cut out, but I'll be
Yes,
safe.
I'm very much a Georgia person at this point. I don't.
Hey, gentlemen, hugging out. Hugging Theus. That wasn't him on the videos that he does. This is Theus when he's on the show.
There are different sides of us, you know, like
I'm a multifaceted person.
mm,
Unfortunately, you find most of those facets boring.
No, I find one of them. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, and of course,
I'm assuming you're LGBTQ.
I appreciate Anna. I appreciate Theus. We will see you all next week. And until next time, we will see you when we see you with your $2. Peace.
Hey, I hope everybody has a really good week. Wish you the best, y'all.
indeed.
Don't call anybody that only got $2 in your account. That's don't do that. Don't do that.